Welcome back. Hour number 2, Kentucky Sports Radio. Now happy to be joined by one of Kentucky's favorite sons in a long time, Kash Daniel. Nice to see you, sir.
Hey, man. Thanks for having me.
Look at this guy. He's wearing a Tyler Childers T-shirt, got sunglasses and those tats. He looks much cooler than I ever could be. We're from the same area. He looks like it. I don't, but that's all right.
He came in oozing cool today, and then look at us.
Yeah, well, what are you going to do? Kash, thank you very much for coming.
Hey, man. Thank you guys for having me. Glad to be here.
Glad to have you. All right, so let's start with this. 4 years. Well, first of all, Kash is about to hit the road, and we'll talk about his stops in a little bit. Hit the road, go all over the state with his autograph tour. Are you looking forward to that?
Oh, yeah, man. I'm really looking forward to going out and meeting the great fans of the Big Blue Nation, going from town to town instead of them having to come up here to Lexington. It's really glad for me to go back home and all across the state to go to them.
People are going to be very excited to have you everywhere, and you're going all over. We'll talk about it in a second. But let's talk about 4 years. We interviewed you in high school. You got off work. Was it at a car wash?
Yeah. I got off work right across the road there at Suds.
Suds, that was the name of it.
Suds Car Wash.
We were in Paintsville. You came from Suds, and you had committed to Kentucky. And we talked at the time, and I actually went back and looked at the post where we talked about it. One of the things you said there at Suds, after Suds 4 years ago, was you wanted to come to Kentucky and put your stamp on the program. And I think your quote was, so that when I leave it much better than I find it, which is a very mature thing for a high school kid to say. You think you did that?
From a personal standpoint, I never, really take, personal credit, all this stuff. It was my class, it was my coaches, my teammates. We definitely left our stamp. The guys that came before me, that's laid down the foundation of, setting a winning attitude and setting the standard, of especially in our defense, with how we ran things. So, guys like Josh, guys like Benny, CJ, George, Darius West, Chris Wester, I can go on for days. And, I'm just really glad, and blessed, to be a part of that, and, leave it better than what we found it.
And I think you obviously certainly did leave it better than where you found it. Tell me what the biggest difference is in Kentucky football from the day you walked on campus until now. Like if there was a fly on the wall there when you walked on and there was a fly on their wall there now, what would be the biggest difference they would see?
One, it would just be just the sense of urgency of the brotherhood that you have with your teammates. Of everybody, really being your brother's keeper and having everything being ran like a pro. Coach Stoops tells us all the time, be a pro. You're personally responsible for your own outcomes. Hold your brothers accountable, and whether it be in the weight room, whether it be in the classroom, whether it be on the practice field or the game field, have your brothers back, be your brother's keeper, keep them accountable, and everything since then has just been a building block. And now you see the University of Kentucky football, when you talk about it, you think of bowl wins, you think of combine invites, you think of first-round draft picks. You think of guys making plays in the NFL. You think of Lonnie Johnson, running in, a block kick. You think of Josh Allen, almost setting a rookie sack record. Then you think of Benny Snell, running balls in, for the Steelers. That's Kentucky football, and I think Kentucky football's brand, has, gone shot through the roof since I've walked on campus.
Yeah, there's no doubt about that. So you, when you first got here, there was struggles, not for you personally, but just in the program that first year or two. You turned down South Carolina and other big schools to come here. During that first year or two, was there ever a moment that you said, did I make the right decision, or did you know this was the place to be?
I knew this was the place to be. I always told myself that throughout this recruiting process, go to a place or go to a school where it feels just like home. And no other better place to make it feel like home than to play for your home state, and play for your home team.
But were you close to going somewhere else?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I don't think so. Because there's just so much, urgency around Coach Stoops' program, whether it be recruiting, whether it be the nutrition staff, the training staff. Everything is, with a sense of urgency and with a purpose. And when I was getting recruited by Kentucky, it just felt like, a whole lot of love, just not just from Coach Stoops, but, from the whole program and the fans, the best fans, in college athletics, showing so much love and support. And then I go down to South Carolina a month and a half, maybe 2 months after they offered me, and I go down there for a camp, and that's how I end up getting my Army All-American invite was the day that I came in here with you guys in high school. And you was talking
That's right.
about
Yeah.
And so
you did it. You had just gotten that.
Yeah,
that's right.
Literally right before I walked in the door, just because of that camp. And I walked in there, and Steve Spurrier didn't even know who I was.
Oh, wow.
Like, he was like, "Who's this kid?" He's like, "Oh, we offered him, about a month and a half." He goes, "Oh, nice to meet you. Nice to meet you too, Coach." But
that is quite a difference. I could see why that would.
Yeah, but and it's not just that, but I just saw the vision, and
you had a lot of Kentucky kids in your class,
absolutely.
right? You had Landon, you had Drake, you had Devontae.
Yep.
I mean that's in terms of in-state guys. That might be the best in-state group of Kentucky players. Certainly to come to UK in 20 years, for all of you guys to be in that class.
And I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. I watched a lot of sports documentaries, and I watched a lot of 30 for 30s. And one of the things that I would watch growing up is the 30 for 30, and their struggles, of back in the 70s and the 80s. And then they started recruiting, all of South Florida.
Yeah.
And I remember all those guys saying, hey, we got all these offers, from somewhere else. Let's stay here and make it a hometown thing. So honestly, I'm not going to sit here and say that it didn't have an effect on me, but that kind of stuck in my mind, when I started like, maybe we should make this a hometown thing, and stay close to home, make it a UK thing, and and just,
do it here.
Build the brand and build it here,
Yeah.
And so that's what me, Drake, and Landon and Devontae, and we all just started talking and come together and just talk about, what we were going to do, and things like that, and what our future was and how we saw ourselves, fit in that program. That's one thing we always said was just, hey, man, it could be a hometown thing. We can really capitalize on it and, help turn this program around.
All right, so let's think about it. Let's say in however many years you'll be sitting with your feet up in Paintsville and you'll be sitting there and thinking about your career. Give me the top 3 moments of your time at Kentucky. I know what my top 3 would be for you, but you were there. What are the top 3 moments you'll sit there and you'll tell your grandkids, Granddad did or was part of this?
From 3, 2, 1.
3, 2, 1. See that he knows entertainment.
That's right.
End with the best. Go ahead. What's number 3?
Number 3 would probably have to be. Oh man, I don't know, man. That'd be pretty hard.
Well, forget 3, 2, 1. Just give me the ones that stick out to you.
The one that stick out, obviously winning the Citrus Bowl. That was a big deal. Having one of the best seasons in program history.
I was on the field when that was over. And I've told Ryan this. I'm not sure I've seen a happier group of people than you all were that day.
It was just it's just a journey more than just the game itself. But how we won that game against a powerhouse school known for college football throughout history, like Penn State. And to see Josh Allen and Benny, very highly recruited prospects in the NFL, come out and say, I'm going to play for my brothers. And they come out, Benny sets a school record, and Josh pats his stats, with 3 or 4 sacks, however many he had. And just all the plays that happened, and the play I had against Trace McSorley was really cool.
That was a great play, yeah.
Even though I tripped him. But people say it was a sack. I was like, no, it was a trip. But, he just fell. And then the next play, Lynn takes it back for a touchdown on the punt. It's just like, those things are stacking up, how many good things it was, and then just seeing, the happiness, on all my teammates' face and just the joy we had because we really were just brothers, man. It was just, and I try to explain this to people, but unless you've experienced it, it's really hard to explain. So yeah, that was. All
right, so let me give a few more that stick out for me. What about when you beat Florida on the road? I mean, that's got to be.
Yeah, that was ending the streak and being a part of that was very monumental, in my career. That really stands out, and not just because it was the streak, and everything like that, but we went in that game treating it like it was just a regular college football game. And Coach Stoops throughout that whole week didn't even talk about the streak. Our whole motto that week was F the streak. So that was
all right then.
That was our motto.
And you guys, I think Stoops has told us that you all went in. I'm sure you do this in every game, but he said specifically in that one, you all went in assuming you were going to win.
Absolutely. I believe in self-confidence that if you go out there thinking for 1 second that you're going to lose this game, don't walk out on the field. If you don't have one self-confidence in how you're going to play, and if you don't have the trust and belief in your brothers, don't walk out on that field.
At Missouri.
Very great game. Shout out to CJ and David Bouvier and Lynn Bowden for that game. That was an unbelievable game. I actually talked to a couple of the Missouri guys down at the Tropical Bowl this weekend about that game, and they were sitting there talking about Ahmad, the human offensive pass interference.
That's
human pass interference guy. Every time we throw a ball up to him, he was going to get a PI called.
Yeah,
and they were sitting there, just saying, "I don't know about that call. I don't know about that call." I was like,
it was close.
It was close.
But that was a great. And Lynn's kick kept you in the game, and then and Bouvier. People forget that's a good point. How many catches he made on that last drive? He had a bunch.
People honestly forget how big of a part of a role he was in that team. Not just from a player standpoint of out there on the field, but just a locker room guy, and always, having a smile on his face and always, just being a great teammate, and that's one thing we always pride ourselves on, in that locker room is being great teammates to each other. And, over these past 4 years, man, it's just been a blessing, to be around so many different guys and build that bond with so many different guys from each corner of, the United States and everything.
What about the two beatdowns of Louisville?
That was pretty fun. I'm not going to sit here and get into, like the big rivalry, and everything like that.
No. Look, dude, you're from Kentucky. Get into it. What are they going to do?
It's okay.
Like, you're done now. What are they going to do?
But, it was it's fun because, it's a very anticipated game. It's the game, that everybody in the state is looking forward to. The two teams, going at it, the emotion built up to it, the history in it. And, just the way we go out and play and, the way we did it, it was unbelievable.
What about, and then the game down here in Charlotte?
Oh, man, that's always going to stick with me just because of the emotion, that with it. And, just being the last time, I took that blue and white, off my shoulder pads. Man, I have so much pride, being from the state of Kentucky and being from where I'm from in the mountains.
I want to talk about that. Hold on to that. We'll talk about that when we come back. We're going to take a break. 502-571-1080. Here's the thing. I'm going to do one more segment. Are you able to stick around, or you got somewhere?
I'll be here all day.
Okay. All right. So here's what we'll do. I'll do one more segment with him. Then we'll take calls in the second half. So if you'd like to talk to Cash, 502-571-1080. If you'd like to ask a question on Twitter, send me a message at KY Sports Radio. We'll take a break. Be right back.
To talk to Matt Jones and the crew, call the Clark's Pump and Shop phone line at 502-571-1080 or 1-877-904-1080, or send us the Kentucky branded KSR tweet of the day by tweeting Matt at KY Sports Radio.
You're listening to Kentucky Sports Radio on Talk Radio 1080.
Welcome back. Kentucky Sports Radio here with Kash Daniel. 502-571-1080. I'm going to read you some of these messages come in. One person writes, Matt, my kid's favorite player that has ever played at this school was Kash Daniel. I just want to thank him for always representing Kentucky well. My kid emulates him all the time. Now, I'm sure there are a ton of kids that are like that. What does that make you feel when you hear?
Man, just prideful and so thankful, that kids in this day and age, look up to me. And I try to set, a great example, for, kids across the state and kids across the nation. So thank you, for all of that and for everybody across, the Big Blue Nation and, all the little kids out there, man, because that's what we do it for, to see the joy, on the younger generation's faces, to pave it forward, and to give back and, hopefully inspire some kids.
Do you, let's talk about the Eastern Kentucky part of it. You and I have talked about this off air many times. I have pulled for you on a personal level because I know what you mean for the mountains. You're the most, probably the biggest recruit to come out of the mountains in football since Couch, maybe the most important athlete for people there in that time. And it is a collective that unless you're from there, you don't really get. You don't really understand kind of how everybody sort of looks at it. I know you felt that pressure. We've talked about it. It has to be immense. What was that like playing, knowing you have an entire region of people sitting there sort of wanting to kind of live vicariously through you? Did it ever weigh on you? What was that like?
That was my sense of motivation. That was my why, one of my many reasons why, I do this on a daily basis, why I get up and, and push my body, to the limits every day, push my mind to the limits every day of, studying extra film and getting an edge on our opponent just so I can go out there and make people proud. Like you said, when people talk about Eastern Kentucky all the time, most of the time it's going to be a lot of negative. Hardly anybody ever shows the bright side of it. So I wanted to be, a bright side, for the mountains, for people, to look back and say, there's not so much bad things there, I mean, a lot of people don't make it out, and I wanted to show people that if you work hard and you have this dream and it wakes you up in the morning and keeps you up at night and you keep working, keep thinking it and speaking it to existence, anything can happen for you.
You talked, first of all, you talked on this show a few weeks ago. You talked after the game that you've had some struggles this year. It's just in terms of, I'll let you describe what you meant. I mean, because you've mentioned that, and I've sort of wondered what you were talking about. You don't have to go into details. Yeah. I'm just saying, what with your struggles, talk just me through that, and how did you get through it? Because you seem like, I will tell you, you seem like in a better place right now than I've seen you in a while.
I'm in such a better place. I got my happiness back and I got my joy back.
Why is that? Because you do. I can tell.
I was in a deep, dark place, man, mentally throughout this whole year. I suffer from depression. That's one thing that a lot of people don't know about me. I have this persona of this, confident, kind of almost brash, kind of dude. But that's my persona. That's what I use to have people, try to live vicarious through me, to have this excitement, around Kentucky football, and bring a sense of swag to it.
Do you feel like you have to play that role?
No, not necessarily, but that's just how I play football. Because I think it's such an emotional game, and you forget about everything else. You forget about all the negatives and things like that. But sometimes when there's so many negative things that keep happening one after one after one, I mean, it's hard to get that. It's hard to get your confidence up and hard to get your mojo going. And it just seems like one thing after another this year. For me, I feel like I couldn't get a break from from some things. And I lost my grandfather this year. He was like a second dad to me, and I'm still recovering from. My whole family is, because he was our rock and he was our glue. That kept our family together, and and I love and miss him so much. I can't even start describing it. I wish he was there, for my senior day and for my graduation and for the bowl game and everything like that. And so that's what really, set me over the edge and being in that dark place. But then,
did it start with? That was a huge part with your grandfather. Did the Florida thing started a little? Or?
Yeah, and and it did. It did for a little bit, because I didn't want people to think that I was a dirty player, because I'm not. That was just one instance where I blacked out, and I'm such an emotional, fiery guy. I play this game with such a ferocity, and I play the game how football was meant to be played. This is not a gentleman's sport, and people are trying to make it into it year after year after year. You look at the play last night where the kid from Clemson got tossed. He shouldn't have got tossed for that.
Yeah,
absolutely not. You're taking a kid's chance from a national championship game. You took that away from him because it was a bang-bang play, and it's football. He didn't even hit him with the helmet. He hit him with the shoulder, and then just because he ducked his head a bit, you kick the kid out of the game, and you take that memory away from him. And he was having a hell of a game.
Yeah.
He was sideline to sideline killing people. And it was a stupid decision, Matt, and I want everybody for me to reiterate this. It was so stupid, and it weighed on my heart, because I'm not that guy. I'm not, a dirty player. And I didn't want people to.
Why do you think, I don't mean to cut you off, but why do you think, I completely understood it can happen. Anybody who plays sports know that, especially at that thing. Why do you think after the game you didn't just say, I shouldn't have done it?
Because I felt like it wouldn't have mattered at that point, that it was such in the moment that everybody would have kept coming after me no matter what. And, when I get like that, I kind of just shut down, for a minute. And, and unfortunately for me, and I didn't say anything about it just because I wanted to play for my team. I was willing to, I was willing to take personal heat, just to be out there for my team, and I did. And looking back on it, should I have apologized right after the game? Absolutely. absolutely I should have. And it was stupid of me to do that, and it's one of my many regrets, that I have in that game. Not many regrets, but, one of the regrets I have in that game.
You had a couple concussions.
Yeah.
You think that had any play in it?
Man, for people that don't know, that's never smacked heads. Concussions can mess with you, especially when you have, 2 and 3 weeks. I just don't really think I fully recovered from the last one just because, of who I am, and I want to be out there for my guys no matter what. I mean, like my thing out there on the football field, man, is if I can walk, I can play. But I understand, the purpose and the sense of urgency around concussions now because of, of all the studies that are coming out about them and everything like that. So, should I have, waited and made sure I was 100% before I could come back? Absolutely, I should have. But, and it wasn't anything against my training staff. My training staff did everything right.
I don't think they could have kept you off the field no matter what. You were wanting to play.
I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Like, I would just, in my head, like when they give me my concussion protocol test, like I have to count like numbers and stuff and remember them, or like names you have to remember them by. I would literally just remember them on my fingers. I'd be sitting there just 1, 2, 3.
Yeah, trying to pass it.
Yeah, trying to pass it.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll take your calls, 502-571-1080. We'll be right back with Kash Daniel.
Make a difference in your community by helping those who suffer with substance abuse illness combat their addiction. Earn a BS in Substance Abuse Counseling with the University of Cincinnati's 100% online program, constantly ranked as one of the top programs in the country. Get the world-class, life-changing, career-rewarding degree you deserve in as little as 2 years that fits your busy schedule without sacrificing work and family commitments. Learn more today at online.uc.edu/SACN.
Thanks for listening to Kentucky Sports Radio on Talk Radio 1080.
All right, welcome back, Kash Daniel. A lot of great feedback on your time here so far. Matt Jones, Ryan Lemon. A couple things I want to get to phones real quick. You, what's next? What are you going to do?
Well, I just got done finishing playing up in the Tropical Bowl down in Daytona this past weekend. We had 2 days of practice and a game on Sunday. I feel like I had a really good 2 days of practice down there. I talked to, probably 12 to 13 NFL teams, afterwards. Had a really good, I think I had a pretty good half that I played in the first half, too. I started at Mike, and I made an emphasis, to start on every special team down there, just so, I think that's –
you got to show that.
That's the best way, for a young guy to make it in the league.
Oh, yeah.
But now, right now I'm here, talking to KY Sports Radio's best. And,
well, let's talk about your signing tour.
Yeah.
You start Friday night in Paintsville.
Right at Hutch Chevrolet, baby.
Hutch Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Chevrolet in Paintsville. Right. Friday night at 6. Then YPK Motorsports Saturday at 1 in Hazard. Then Pikeville at Buffalo Wild Wings. We've been to that Buffalo Wild Wings a million times.
Anytime.
6 o'clock. And then Louisville Academy Sports on the Outer Loop at 1 on Sunday. So Paintsville Friday, Hazard and Pikeville Saturday, Louisville Sunday. We'll have all these on KSR, too, so you can see them. Then next Friday, the 24th, you'll be at KS Bar here in Lexington. Then Saturday at the Historic State Theater in Elizabethtown on Saturday at 3. Legends Sports Bar in Owensboro at 6. We've been there, too.
Yes.
And then Newport Gameworks on Sunday at 1. You'll get a big crowd there as well. So going to East, West Kentucky, and Northern. You'll be in Lexington and Louisville. You excited?
Man, I'm so excited. I can't wait to get out there and see so many people. Man, we could come hang out with me, man. This ain't going to be one of them deals where you got to come up and, call me sir, and all that stuff. We can talk fishing. We can talk wrestling. We can talk anything you want to. We're going to have a good time.
I'm a little worried about having him that, like, he'll talk to people so long it's going to take a while. But that's okay, though. That's people fun. Like that. I think that'll be fun. So you'll be with us a week from Friday. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, Friday the 24th when he's at KS Bar and Grill.
Yes, we actually are postponing, Cash. We're leaving a day later from our trip so we can be there. Wow. We were supposed to leave Friday, but we're going to stay because we want to hang out with you that night. All right, who's up first, Shannon?
We'll start with Daryl.
Daryl, how are you, Daryl?
Hey, fellas, how you doing?
Good. By the way, Daryl was in Lexington last night. His wife almost won $5,000. If they had scored that last touchdown, Daryl had a shot, but it didn't happen. But go ahead, Daryl.
I'm a winner no matter what. You know, I got my beautiful lady, and then I got Mama Rock on the side, so how can I not?
Brother,
Go ahead, brother.
No, I wanted to let Cash know, Cash, man, I know you was kind of down on yourself at a point this year, but there's nothing you can do to ever disappoint us in the mountains. I mean, no matter what, right or wrong, we'll always have your back, and every single day I deal with these kids, and one of the first names comes out of their mouth is they want to be like you. So keep on doing what you're doing, and we got your back.
Daryl, I can't tell you how much I appreciate that, my brother. There's a lot of things in life, that try to bring us down, and but I found my mojo and I found my happiness, and I found it back, and I'm finally back in a great, clear-headed space, and we're really looking forward to getting after it. And it's just so inspiring, just to hear, that kids, back home, mention me, and that's all I ever want to do is give those kids, a sense of hope and a sense of pride, that, be proud of where you come from. That's what my granddad always said when he would go up and he was a judge, and he would always say, I'm from Louisville. People would say, I'm from Louisville, Kentucky. I'm from Lexington, this, and that. He'd say, I'm Tucker Daniel from Muddy Branch, Kentucky. Don't ever forget where you come from.
Well, we're blessed to call you ours, Cash, and that's one thing that they'll never be able to take from us, and until the days when you're irrelevant, you'll always be one of us from the mountains, and I wish you the best success as your career goes on, and can't wait to see you when you come to the mountains.
Oh, I can't wait to see you, brother.
Appreciate it, Daryl. See you in Pikeville. I'll tell you later, Cash, who said this, but one of your coaches just texted me this. Tell Cash he's doing a great job. When we got him, it allowed us to lock down the guys in this state. We used him a lot in the state, and he's going to be missed. Kentucky football has jumped because of Kash Daniel.
That made me cry right there, man.
He's right, because that class of you and Drake and Landon and Devontae kind of set the prep, for what happened in the years after that of locking down kids in this state, and it started with that class.
You're getting that makes you emotional, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Here, I'll give him a second. We'll take your next call.
At the end of the day, it's just my coaches mean so much to me, man.
I think it obviously goes both ways.
My teammates in this school and this state means so much to me. More than anybody will ever know.
Well,
and those, like we said during the break, that interview you gave after the Belk Bowl with the Feinbaum show, and you gave an interview, I know, Channel 27, where you showed some emotion there, is probably the most proud I'd been of you. It had nothing to do with football. It showed the other side of Kash Daniel that we're seeing right now. That's what people, love, is that other side of you, not the football player, but you as a person.
I told you during the break, and again, this goes back a tradition that goes before, before me, before I was even born. People in this state want you to succeed. I mean, they want you to. It means a lot to them, and I hope you feel that. I know it's been difficult for you this year, but I hope you feel that, because that's special, man. And it's not, no offense to anybody else that plays, it comes from whatever, but they want you to succeed.
Yeah, and with like you said, with all the negativity that came, there was a lot of love too, and that was the one thing that helped me, get back to a great place, in my life, and so I'm very thankful. I'm so thankful, for every fan out there. From the bottom of my heart, I really do appreciate it, guys.
Who's next?
Let's go to Shane.
Shane, what's up, Shane?
Hey, guys, I don't want to sound like I'm hogging the airways here, but thanks for letting me back on. And, Cash, I've got a few things, man. First off, thank you. Thank you for who you are. And I'm getting emotional too, man, just because I get it. And secondly, you're a hell of a young man and a great example for all of us. I smacked heads too. And I've been there. I've played blacked out, and late hits and blocks in the back. I even screamed at the TV, I'm like, why did you do? Wait, I did that. I get it, man. And the kid from Clemson, that's just a football play. And dude, I loved how you brought it. I loved how you brought the pride and how you wore that across your chest and on the back of your pads too, man. Your name means a ton to you. I know that because mine does as well. But lastly, man, I get the whole brotherhood thing, and I feel like I'm a big brother to you. So if you ever need me for anything, just like the rest of my brothers that I played with at Kentucky, the John Schlarmans of the world, the Mike Schlegels. Dude, you play with,
little Drew.
Yeah, with Drew. I played with his dad, man, and, it means the world. Joey Couch, we lost him, and, I get emotional talking about that because he was like a big brother to me from Paintsville, man, and, it just means the world. So thank you so much, and I want to offer you an opportunity to come to my farm anytime in your life. If I'm available, you got the green light to come hunting and fishing down in West Kentucky on my dad and I's farm. Bring anybody that you want, Mason Wolf and any of those guys from that you call brothers or got the green light. So thank you, Cash. I appreciate you, man.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate the call, Shane. Thanks. Let's do one more before the break. Who's next?
Ronnie.
By the way, before we do Ronnie, somebody asked me, where's the best place to fish in Kentucky, in your opinion?
Kentucky? Probably Kentucky Lake.
Kentucky Lake. All right. Ronnie, go ahead.
Hey, what's up, Cash? I just want, Matt, I want to tell you real quick why this guy is loved, too, is because we come down every year to Fan Day, and we also do the Big Blue Madness Camp Out. Well, Cash's freshman year, I bring my son down there. He's 11. He brings a friend and a cousin with him. Coach Cal is on the stage at the camp out with the players. Cash walks by. My son goes up to him, says, will you throw some football with us? For like the next 45 minutes, Cash sat there and threw football. We paid no attention to what was going on with the basketball. They were enamored like that. And ever since that day, man, those kids are like, every time they're watching, they're like, do you remember when he threw football with us? I mean, it means everything to them. And it's stuff like that really stands out. And I thank you for that because you made my son have a favorite player for the last 4 years, and I really appreciate it, man.
Oh, thank you so much. And, that's what brings me happiness, is seeing the joy, and happiness, on those little kids' faces. And people get so caught up, sometimes of, being an SEC football player, or being this and that. And you got to take time, just to toss football, with a kid, and just say, hey, what's up, and ask them what their name is, just take time, to be a good person and not just be, an athlete that's known for, a number or, with a helmet on or anything, just be. That's what I'll always just be prideful of, is just to, try to give back as much as I can, even if it's something, little like that. So I'm very thankful, that your sons remember that. And, anytime you guys see me out, you're always welcome just to come up and say what's up. I'm never going to be one of those guys to shy anybody away or, push anybody away from anything like that. So, thank you so much for that, man. That means the world to me, for real.
All right, not a problem. Best of luck, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Feels weird to do an ad now, but I have to. I've put it off as long as I can. Don Franklin, Cash, is celebrating their new location. Let me tell you something. You need to practice this.
That's right.
I think you got a career of this coming. Just be ready.
Okay.
Don Franklin, Chevy, Cadillac, Nissan, and Glasgow is saving you thousands for paying top dollar for your trade. Over 5,000 new and pre-owned vehicles. 500,000-mile powertrain coverage warranty. Go to Don Franklin Auto, DonFranklinAuto.com. 27 locations across the state, 16 brands. It's all at Don Franklin and DonFranklinAuto.com. We'll come back. Final segment with Kash Daniel. It's KSR.
To talk to Matt Jones and the crew, call the Clark's Pump and Shop phone line at 502-571-1080 or 1-877-904-1080. To talk to Matt Jones and the crew, call the Clark's Pump and Shop phone line at 502-571-1080 or 1-877-904-1080.
Now back to Kentucky Sports Radio on Talk Radio 1080.
This is where we dropped off the prettiest little girl, same grade as me.
Kash Daniel here on Kentucky Sports Radio. I asked him, what's your favorite Tyler song? I didn't see this one coming.
I don't even know this.
No, this is on the new album. I like it, but I would have. This your favorite one?
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Because I know the story.
Yeah.
Didn't even wave goodbye. Didn't even wave goodbye.
You knew Tyler years ago, right?
Well, I mean, not like,
well, I mean, but you knew who he was.
I knew who he was, and, he was always, just a big talk, around Eastern Kentucky and Paintsville. I remember when, he would just cut, demo songs, and we'd have to find them, on the internet, or SoundCloud, and all my buddies, back home, and we'd always listen to Tyler, and Sturgill and stuff like that, and it was pretty funny because I remember one time my buddy Luke Trimble, what's up, Chili? And he won a birthday party over at the Paintsville City Pool.
That's a big win.
Oh my goodness!
You win a birthday party at
them days, man. That's like the Taj Mahal, of celebrations. Forget the walk to Dairy Queen from school. If you got a pool party at the Paintsville City Pool, you got it shut down for yourself and your buddies. That was it, man.
Shut down the whole pool.
Yeah, we shut down the whole thing, man.
That is big.
We had the slide to ourselves, the diving board. I mean, we had everything to ourselves. But anyways, and so I was like, I had like maybe 1,000 or 2,000 followers on Twitter. So I was like, let's just see what happens. And he won that pool party, and I tweeted him. He's like, we come play, at my buddy's pool party, and I'd be damned if he didn't come over and play, for an hour and a half, just on a picnic table with us.
So he came. You're telling me Tyler Childers came and played your buddy's Paintsville pool party?
He absolutely did. He came over there with his acoustic guitar set up right there on the bench and started picking away and singing. Man,
what a great story!
It is a great story.
Were you like neighbors with Chris Stapleton or something one time too?
Yeah, his mom and dad grew up in the same neighborhood as I did. Absolutely, and I never really had any interaction. My Nana's really good friends with his mother. But
I mean, isn't it crazy that Stapleton, Tyler, and Sturgill, all that, just kind of all from that little area, and like it's got to be nuts that they're all blowing up.
It's amazing, man, and just to see the journey, of each and every single one of those guys and their path of how they got there. I mean, a couple years ago, Tyler's playing at a Paintsville City, pool party, and now he's nominated for, a Grammy.
It is crazy to think the watching those dudes rise. I mean, Sturgill and Tyler, the two of them are playing Madison Square Garden.
Had a little bitty Paintsville.
It is unbelievable. All right, a couple comments, questions here. One person says, I'd like to know from Cash what Mark Stoops means to him.
The world. Coach Stoops believed in me when he didn't have to. He gave me the opportunity that I dreamed of when I was a kid, sitting in my floor doing push-ups and sit-ups till I couldn't do no more. And just to give me the opportunity to be a Kentucky kid and wear that UK across my chest. And he means the world to me, not just from a football aspect, from a life aspect. And he's helped me through some dark days. He's always kept my confidence up and always, reassured me of, how important I was to him and this program. And I'll always be indebted to Coach Stoops for what he's done for me and my family and allowing me to be me. Coach Stoops has never tried to change me as a person, and that's one thing that I can never thank him enough for, is that I know that sometimes, I could be a lot to handle. And for him to say, this is who Cash is, I'm going to let Cash be Cash, that speaks the world to me, and I'll never be able to thank Coach Stoops for everything he's ever done for me.
All right, put on your announcer hat for a second.
Okay.
What's Kentucky going to be like next year? Give us a little preview of the team next season.
I mean, you got a bunch of returning starters coming back. You got Landon Young coming back. You got Drake coming back. You got Quentin Bohanna coming back. AJ coming back. You got Chris Rodriguez. You got Smokey Smoke in the background.
Got Terry Wilson.
Terry Wilson's coming back. And, we got probably one of the better recruiting classes Coach Stoops has had since he's.
Yeah, do you know much about those guys?
I mean, to be quite honest with you, man, I stay out of the recruiting, scene.
But do you meet them when they come?
Yeah, absolutely.
They look like they're big old boys.
Hey, man, this is the SEC, man. We got to recruit big old boys, and Coach Stoops has done a great job of that year after year. So, I expect, like Lynn said after the game, I expect nothing, but, better things to come.
Talk to me about Lynn.
Man, versatile as they come, man.
How hard is it to tackle him? I mean, you have to do it in practice. I'm sure they don't let you put your hands on him too much.
Let's just say this: I'm glad that we don't let practice film, leak out. I'm just glad that.
Does he embarrass some people?
Oh man, I mean, he breaks ankles. I mean, he's broken mine a couple times just because of just how swift and how smooth he is with the football. And his footwork is just it's not like one of those fast cuts like you see guys break down and like really cut, but they're so efficient that he just makes you look stupid, especially in that run, that 60-some yard run he had in the bowl game. I mean, made a lot of people look stupid there.
Well, he's really never seen anything like it. All right, who's next?
Let's go to Chris.
Chris, what's up, Chris?
Hey, Cash, how you doing, bud?
Good.
I'm doing good, man. How you doing?
I'm good, man. I just want to let you know, buddy, we appreciate everything you've done for the University of Kentucky. And I've always kind of wondered, I didn't get to play college ball, blow my knee out in high school. And for all these guys, from Kentucky, we look at you and we live through you. We live through all you guys, and especially you Kentucky boys. We appreciate everything you've ever done. And just my question for you is, how did it feel putting on that Kentucky jersey the first time you ever put it on?
Well, man, first off, thank you so much, for those words. And, that's, like I said, again, one of the many reasons why, is for the people that, that didn't get the chance, to live out their dreams. And so that's one thing I've held close to my heart. But, to answer your question, it's just an overload. It's hard to explain. It's an overload of rush of joy and pride, that you have when that jersey slips over your shoulder pads and you put that helmet on and you bust through that tunnel with 60,000 plus screaming fans, hearing Waka Flocka bring us out and the smoke going everywhere and everything like that. And so it's a sense of pride, of like, wow, I'm actually here. I've dreamed about this. I've worked my tail off for this, but now it's actually here. Let's go play football.
Thank you very much, Chris. All right, so let me go over this again. Paintsville, Friday night, 6 o'clock. Hazard, Saturday at 1. Pikeville, Saturday at 6. Louisville, Sunday at 1. Then next week, you're with us at KS Bar, Friday the 24th. Then Saturday, E-Town. Saturday, Owensboro. Sunday, Newport. We'll have the schedule. I'll tweet it out this afternoon, and we'll have it on the website as well. Cash, we got about a little over a minute left. I always say this to people when they come in. For a lot of people, this might be the last time they hear from you for a while. What's kind of your final message to the Kentucky fans?
Just for the past 4.5, 5 years, even when I was getting recruited, the love and support that you guys have shown, not just to me, but my teammates, my coaches, UK football and UK athletics as a whole, I really cannot say thank you guys enough, man. You guys made a Kentucky kid's dream come true. You guys are my reason why, that I get up and do this stuff every day. One of the many reasons of my whys, but you guys are the best fans of college athletics, man. I mean, you guys support us. You guys travel so well from our bowl games to away games. I mean, every time we go somewhere it's almost on an away game, it almost looks like a home game to us because of how much blue and white we see. And I can't thank you enough. My teammates can't thank you enough. And I'll always love you guys. I'll always be a Wildcat. Once a Wildcat, always a Wildcat, and I bleed blue for life, man. Thank you guys so much. Thank you so much.
Well, I just want to say, on behalf of the fans, thank you for your 4 years, and also specifically on behalf of Eastern Kentucky, I want to thank you not just for playing here, but for having pride from the mountains.
Thank you, guys.
You are mountain through and through, and you're proud of it. And when people do that and succeed, I always have their back. I wish you nothing but the best.
Thank you so much. Thank you guys for having me.
Cash, thank you. We will see you later. Great show today. Thank you all. This has been Kentucky Sports Radio.